So I'm wondering what everyone's thoughts are about this event that took place last night. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Bill Clinton shared the stage at a talk in Arkansas. Notable, as a lot of people have been wondering what is going on with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There's been some major health concerns. She has not been appearing in public as much up until very recently. She's made a few appearances. It looks like that might have some reason, something to do with the reason behind why they set up this talk as well. They've been trying to bring Ginsburg out in public more often recently as these rumors have escalated around her. So Bill Clinton did an introduction at this event. The whole event was about an hour and a half long. Not a ton of highlights, but there were a few interesting things. First of all, just her appearing to begin with, a couple of interesting statements. So Ginsburg herself has had to address some of these rumors. A recent event, one of these few recent events that she has had, she had told the audience, "I am alive." She said, "This audience can see that I am alive. I am on my way to being very well." And she said that she's ready for the upcoming Supreme Court term, and she has no plans to retire. This was at the National Book Festival in Washington. That was very recently. And again, just yesterday, last night at this event with Bill Clinton, she made similar statements saying, "I'm pleased to say that I am feeling very good." This article also noting that Ginsburg's remarks about her health follow these comments that she made at the National Book Festival on Saturday, during which she told the audience that she is alive and on her way to being very well. Ginsburg was nominated to the Supreme Court in 1993 by President Bill Clinton, who introduced the justice yesterday. In recalling her interview with Clinton before she was selected as his nominee to the High Court, Ginsburg joked that while some men had a certain discomfort talking to a woman, that was not the way with President Clinton. Another article breaking down the few highlights from last night also points out where Ginsburg had claimed that it was her work on the court that saved her during treatment. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said Tuesday night that her work on the bench saved her during her cancer treatments, as the judge was given a rock star reception in the home state of the president who nominated her to the nation's highest court. Notable, the size of this crowd, as I've covered here, the lack of crowds that the Clintons have been able to draw very recently. They had this failed speaking tour that I covered, where they really struggled to fill even a third of seats at many of the venues. This failed speaking tour with the Clintons that ended earlier this year. Several articles on that had already talked about, but one thing that they tried to do was to cut ticket prices dramatically. They at one point tried to slash ticket prices by 90% and still had trouble filling seats. The opening night for this event in Toronto opened to 83% empty seats, and Hillary Clinton had a coughing fit during that as well, and did not really improve throughout the rest of the tour. By the end of the tour, they tried adding on a few celebrities, people like Ben Stiller and others, to maybe draw more people, to try to get more people to fill some seats for the last few dates for the Clintons, and even that did not really work. So interesting contrast, the failed Clinton speaking tour earlier this year, and now this event that seems like it did have a better turnout, at least in comparison with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Maybe part of the Clintons trying to rehabilitate their image as well, or just trying to find somebody for the Democrats besides the Clintons, and the Clintons playing their role as they're expected to there as well. Pretty interesting comparison. Interesting, the size of this crowd allegedly, and watching the event again, very few highlights, but the audience reaction was louder than you would expect. The Clintons, again, their popularity is waning. It's hard for them to draw these sorts of crowds normally, but this event with Ginsburg seemed to have a bigger crowd than there would normally be. Quote here says, "I think my work," this was again from Ginsburg saying, "I think my work is what saved me, because instead of dwelling on my physical discomforts, if I have an opinion to write or a brief to read, I know I've just got to get it done, so I have to get over it," she said during a 1-hour interview on stage with NPR reporter Nina Totenberg. A lot of very softball questions. Again, reason for sort of the lack of highlights. They were very, very safe questions given by this NPR reporter to Ginsburg, as you might expect, at the Verizon Arena. About 13,000 individuals attended the event, which was hosted by the Clinton Foundation and the University of Arkansas Clinton School of Public Service. More had been on the waiting list to attend. They have a couple remarks that Bill Clinton made during his introduction right before Bader Ginsburg took the stage last night. Bill Clinton was giving the intro. He said, quote, "I liked her and believed in her. I just knew she was the right person for the court." Also notable, I watched the full event. They don't include this here, but one other thing. Again, he brought up that Hillary Clinton was one of the individuals. Clinton is now saying that gave him the idea to select Ginsburg in 1993 to begin with. It was apparently largely Hillary's idea, or Hillary was a big person pushing Bill Clinton to make this pick. That's one of the things that Bill Clinton talked about in the intro last night. It also added that he never expected Ginsburg to achieve the pop culture status she has, including a movie and a documentary released about her last year, and products ranging from t-shirts to coffee mugs featuring her. So everybody has seen this sort of media coverage, again, that they've been really propping up Ginsburg and trying to build this whole legacy around this. The mainstream media has been trying to do this, and interesting, as the Clintons' popularity is waning, you can see the effect even in this one event. Again, if this was just Bill Clinton, I think we'd have a very different type of audience, different sort of attendance at this event as well. Verizon Arena erupted into cheers as footage of Ginsburg swearing in was shown, and the audience chanted RBG as she took the stage. Tuesday's speech was the latest in a handful of public appearances Ginsburg has made since her radiation treatment was disclosed last month. Ginsburg's health has been watched closely by both conservatives and liberals, since it's believed the court would shift to the right if President Donald Trump could nominate someone to replace her. Clinton alluded to that concern. One of very few, even indirect comments about President Trump yesterday, which was one surprising thing. I was, given the way that the Clintons have been talking lately, I was expecting more of that, I guess. But let me know what you think. Pretty interesting that she's making this appearance even to begin with. Just once more to bring up the failure of Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton in these recent speaking tours that they had attempted. I also think that it might be interesting to see how this event goes. Hillary Clinton and Condoleezza Rice are scheduled to speak at the University of Michigan in October. So that will be another appearance by Hillary Clinton, and we'll, I guess maybe one interesting comparison will be to see how the crowds, what the audience size is at that event as compared to this event with Clinton and Ginsburg, I think being the bigger draw than the Clintons at this point. Any other details that you might have, any other alternative theories as to what might be going on, I'm definitely interested. Please let me know your thoughts. I will leave a link in the video description to my Patreon account. Patreon.com/realityreader is one place where you can support this channel. Even $1 or $2 makes a huge difference, helps me keep talking about these issues. There's also a link to paypal.me/realityreader, both places where you can support the channel. Please tell me what you think. I will follow up soon. Thanks, everyone.